Yo, welcome back to Raw Pages. This is the series where I read a chapter of a new book every single day and I show you guys and teach you guys what I've learned just so that you don't have to read the book yourself. So, the book we're on is Atomic Habits, right? And what I want to talk about today is making the unconscious conscious. Bro, that sounds like some Master Oogway shit. Like it doesn't even sound real, right? Making the unconscious conscious. But all it is really simply is just being more wary of the actions that you do on autopilot and why you're doing them, right? If you want to change something, if you want to change your habits, first thing you got to do is be aware of them, be aware of what you're doing, right? Like habits, the reason why we have habits is because your brain and your body in general, we've evolved to be more efficient over thousands of years of evolution, natural selection, right? So our body just uses habits as a way to do things subconsciously without having to use too much brain power. So we can use our conscious brain power on other tasks, other more important things, right? But your habits in the background, it's like a program just running in the background, just running all the time. Like you wake up, you brush your teeth, you do your morning ritual, you go to work, whatever. You don't really have to think about doing it. It's just things you do automatically, right? When you go shopping, you might shop in the same order, right? It's the same when you go to the gym, you do the same workout in the same order. You for the first few times you might have to think about it, but your brain learns patterns and it just runs automatically. You don't even need to think about it. Now this can be a really good thing, but it's also can be really dangerous as well because if you're doing bad habits and you're not aware of it, then you're just letting yourself be carried by your habits, which is not a good thing at all. So the first thing to do is just be aware of them. Like think about what you want to like what you do on a day-to-day basis. Why I'm actually doing this. Like why when I wake up, like the first thing I do is scroll. And it's just the thing I've been doing for years. Like I just wake up and I scroll. Like why do I actually do that? You know, why don't I wake up and drink a gallon of water or half a gallon of water? Why don't I wake up and journal? Why is the first thing I do scroll? Right? So being aware of your habits and something that's going to help you to be able to do this is something I did as well. And it made me a lot more conscious of my habits is I kept like a habit scorecard. So just doing an audit of my life, right? Like, okay, what do I do? What habits do I do on a daily basis that take me further away from my goal, right? What habits might be harmful? What habits might be positive? And how do I maximize the positive ones and minimize the negative ones, right? And listen, we're all human. It doesn't need to be perfect. But in terms of the habit scorecard, like, it just helps you be aware of what you're actually doing, right? You want to be aware. You don't want to go through life on AFK, man. For any gamers out here, you know what AFK means. You do not want to just fucking cruise through life on cruise control. You're not even aware of what's going on. You're just an NPC at that point. If you don't think for yourself, and if you can't stop and think about what I'm actually doing here, if you don't have that level of self-awareness, bro, you're just living life as an NPC. Like you're just a robot. You're just a bot. You're literally just a bot. Do not be a bot. Be aware of what's going on. Be in control of your own life. Be in control of your mind, of your body. Right. There was a story that they mentioned in Atomic Habits. Right. It's basically so Japan. Right. They've got this bullet train. Right. And they have like a really low level of accidents on the train platforms. Right. And one of the observations is that the conductors on the platform, they're really vocal when they're seeing things. When they're doing their checks and they're pointing up and down, they'll shout, they'll point. Rather than just like scanning, they'll shout and they'll point, they'll make it obvious, and they have to do that. So when they're checking, they're really animated. It's their process, right? So they're not just doing things on autopilot. They're making sure like, yo, this, that, this, that, is that all in order? Is that all in order? And there was a story, right, where a woman, her son actually accidentally ran on the train. And these are bullet trains, like they go super fast. I forgot how fast. I think it's like the speed of sound. And yeah, I might have said something stupid there. It might be speed of sound, might not be. But her son went on the train, right? She went to grab him. Her hand got stuck. Her arm got stuck in the train, right? And think about how fast these trains go. Like it was about to depart, but because the inspector, right, he's like, yo, he's doing his checks, he's calling it out. He's moving his hands, right? He's being aware of what's going on. He's not just like checking, doing a little glance up and down. He's actually calling it out actively, right? They were able to stop the train, save that woman's life, save a tragedy from happening, just from being able to actually call things out rather than just looking and just kind of being on autopilot on AFK mode. She would have been cooked, right? So you want to have this same approach with life, right? If I see myself doom scrolling for too long, I'll literally call out the negative habit that I'm doing. So I take my scorecard, my habit scorecard, and then I'll call out what I'm doing. So if I'm scrolling, I'm like scrolling, and I'll come off my phone, literally. If I don't really do too many daily habits apart from scrolling's probably my worst one. Like, I'm being transparent. I'm not coming here with like the mentality of, you know, I'm perfect or whatever. I think probably scrolling, it's not like I scroll like mad, but it's probably my worst habit, social media, right? So me calling it out has allowed me to be aware of what I'm actually doing. So I'm very aware of my actions, right? And just having that clarity and asking the question, this is the most important part, which is asking yourself, does this habit serve me or does it not serve me? When you have the answer to that, you know what to do. You know what to do. Does it make the boat go faster or does it not? Right? And you might think it's like a little habit that doesn't really matter, it's not important, but doing that bad habit over a certain amount of time in 10 years' time is going to put you on a completely different trajectory, whether it's a good habit or a bad habit, right? Just being aware of what you're actually doing, being aware of the total sum of if I keep doing this shit for a year, for 2 years, however long, is it going to be a net positive or a net negative result? And if so, if it's positive or negative, how positive, how negative? So really having a a good grip on what you're actually doing every day. Stop living life on AFK, bro. Stop living life on autopilot. Stop doing it. Like that's how people get the feeling that time flies, right? Because you're just doing the same shit every day and you're not even thinking about it. You're not actually taking stock of what's actually going on right now. Like what is actually going on. People just let life pass them by. They might come home from work, sit on the couch, eat some snacks, unhealthy snacks. And if you do that over a long enough period of time, how are you not gonna look like shit? How are you not gonna look sloppy if that's what you're doing every single day? But if you're actually aware of what you're actually doing, like I come home from work every day. Instead of going to the gym, I sit on the sofa and eat crisps or chips, as the Americans call it. But I just eat crisps all day. Like, yo, what's actually going on here? Like, why do I do this? And then from there, you can deconstruct, replace that with a good habit, and slowly but surely, you're improving your life. You're changing your trajectory. You're bending reality to where you want it to be. Right? Yo, I'm dropping gems here. I'm dropping gems. It's something that I've only just started implementing. I'll keep you guys posted on how it goes. But just being super aware of what you're actually doing will help you. Will help you so much when it comes to changing the habits that you do, your everyday habits in life. Because your habits are the building block of your life, right? That's why the book's called Atomic Habits, because they're the atoms of life, your habits. Everything you do every single day. So just be conscious of it. Think, why am I doing this? Always ask yourself why. Always ask yourself why. Even when I was a kid in school, I was that kid who always used to be like, oh, miss, but why? But why is it like that? People used to get annoyed, like, oh, you have so many questions, because I genuinely want to understand. I've always had like a deep longing to really want to understand things. Otherwise, you're just doing it for the sake of it, right? We only have one life. You want to understand things, understand yourself, then you can understand where you're going, right? First step to change is acknowledgement. You need to acknowledge which habits you're doing. Now, that's all for today. Not too long of a video, but yeah, man. Catch you tomorrow.